We appreciate you. All right.
Go ahead. Get in there, Doug.
Couple pieces of garbage to chew on. First one. Trans pilot falsely blamed in DC plane crash sues conservative influencer. And then I want to read this part in the article before I start ranting. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yep.
On January 30th, less than 24 hours after the crash, conservative influencer Matt Wallace, who has 2.2 million followers on the social media platform Twitter, we're not saying that, we're saying Twitter, shared a post from another account he operates stating that the helicopter pilot was transgender. According to the lawsuit, Wallace included a photo of Ellis, and the post went viral, the lawsuit states. Wallace deleted that original post, according to the lawsuit, and then shared two others linking Ellis to the crash. One referred to an interview that Ellis did with some TV show, I guess on CNN. I looked into that.
Okay.
And the only thing I can think of is like maybe she went on that and then she became aware to conservatives that she was in the military because she was like speaking out on CNN. You know what I'm saying? And got targeted, whatever. In which she said President Donald Trump's executive order barring trans people from serving and enlisting in the military made her nervous. It's also disgusting, and he shouldn't have done that. The second post included photos of Ellis and said she might have participated in another trans terror attack, which is like insane. Like,
yeah, that's bananas.
According to the lawsuit, that post received 4.8 million views on X, the suit states. All right, so basically what it boils down to for me, I read this, I saw the title, I read this, and, why is it that so many people, when they're posting online, like don't even care at all about what's true or not? I think most reasonable people would wish this person well in her suing of this person who posted this falsehood, you know what I'm saying? But, like, obviously we know why people do it, for attentions and clicks, right? And they probably monetize it on the Twitter or whatever. But it's just, like, more my question is, and I want to see what you think, and I was thinking too, just what goes through... People know that they're posting bullshit, right? Do you agree with that or no? Or do you think people just post maybe in haste and make mistakes? And you think they don't realize that they're like the scum of the earth that will burn in hell? Because I feel like they do know. What do you think?
I think, well, the person making this go viral, I don't really think they're in good faith. But the people just
agreed
believing the story, seeing a clip of a tweet or just retweeting something, I do think they believe that this is real.
That's an interesting angle, and I'm with you. We can't let people off for reading stuff and still just blindly... That's what you mean, right?
No, it's still fucking dumb. And you know what this is? This is uniquely a problem. This is uniquely a problem of the chronically online, right? Because
yep, I think I wrote that.
Typically, something happens, and if you're a reasonable person, like, yeah, you're curious, but let the dust settle, let it get figured out.
Normal behavior, right?
Right. This seems like. Let's see. I think this story went viral the day that the accident happened.
Right.
Less than 24 hours after the crash. There we go.
It was just done in haste. Right.
Correct. Right. Because that means that there's people who are very politically aligned one way or the other that are chronically online, plugged into the minute-by-minute news cycle. And when they see something happen, they just have to have a story about it. And there's people out there who will serve them up that story if it fits their understanding of the world, and it is compelling. And here you go. Less than 24 hours. I mean,
it's crazy how people let themselves get there. I guess you could always make the argument that, like, desperate people will do what they need to, but I don't know that, like...
Don't be chronically online. Just don't be chronically
online.
I
wrote another note I had is some people get so wrapped up in living online and attention online, they sacrifice reality. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. Because then people get affected and defamed. Yeah, that's what I said. And then I was like, if you do not check your bubble at all, you end up looking like a douche, right? If you just live in your bubble, in your echo chamber, and you have no way to critically think your way out of it, like, it's going to go wrong at a certain point.
Well,
now, this person probably has done this before, and it's probably a dirtball, but, you know, my point still stands in general.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's funny, too, because a lot of these people aren't even, like, motivated by money. They're just motivated by generating sort of generating part of the conversation. They just like
Right.
this post received 4.8 million views on X. You know, this guy loved this. Even if he didn't make a dime, he just appreciates the attention that the shit stirring.
But you can eventually make
doing
dimes off that, which is also ultimately why.
Of course you can.
But you're right. But it's still not all about the money. You're right. There are people who legitimately, for some reason, wake up every day and decide to like push that their mission. Usually they're like called by God to push like culture, right? And it comes from that perspective instead of like a monetary one. It's like, oh, like God called me to like do a trad wife TikTok account. Like I bet you there's people that actually say that out there. You know what I'm saying? God called me to. Anyways, I'm not gonna say it again. It's ridiculous, but
just to rewind.
But you're right. It doesn't have to be monetarily. It's just they get what they want with whatever the narrative they're pushing or money. Go ahead.
Well, attention for these people.
And
but that was just kind of an aside.
Yeah, of course.
Just to turn back to your bubble comment, especially with the people who are chronically online. They're definitely in that
like
bubble.
Matt Wallace. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know who Matt Walsh is.
I don't know, but go ahead.
You know what's funny is when I read this article, I kept reading Matt Walsh in my brain. And I was like, oh, that's not Matt Walsh.
I think he would also... Well, let's not say that. Anyways, go ahead.
He definitely... It came across his feed, if we're being honest. But regardless. As far as being in your bubble... So the second post, just to quote the article, the second post included photos of Ellis and said she might have participated in quote-unquote another trans terror attack. Which, like, if you're not in their bubble, which I'm not, I didn't realize there was a slate of transgender terrorist attacks.
Dude, it's crazy.
And I have to be honest, I don't think that's a real thing. But
no,
that's
it's
crazy
not.
that that's a narrative that sells.
Right. It's again, it brings me back to
like,
how are things that are so blatantly wrong and hateful and only come from like a perspective of like a stand just from like a fake place, how do they get so popular? How do they get so much attention? I mean, this is the bane of the human existence for so long, since like the printing press. But it's still an unanswered question. Like, how does this stuff sell so well time and time again? It creeps up here and there over history.
Because it fits. It fits the narrative of what they expect to be true. So in their minds...
But why do you already hate trans people in such a blind way that you allow yourself to, like, believe this without doing any smidgen of respectful, like, searching, you know?
Yeah, but it just fits what they expect to be true about trans people.
Right? I know, and I know the answer is that simple and that easy. It just makes me frustrated. Mental health. I don't even think it's mental health issues, bro. I think that's too strong a word. I think it is people genuinely, if they don't check themselves, do get into a place where they don't check at all, and so they just blindly believe.
No.
Oh yeah.
You've misunderstood.
Sorry.
Like, they believe that all trans people have mental health issues.
Oh,
so for them to commit acts of terror fits the narrative of what they expect to be.
No, exactly. Right. Well, that kind of jived with what I was saying, but I see what you. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Well, it's funny too because they're
ready to swallow the cum of any narrative that agrees. Go ahead.
There was a shooting, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago. And it was somebody who identified, I don't know if they were trans or if they were like, non-binary, whatever it was. And they did a shooting at a primary school, like an elementary school, that they used to attend. And like 2 teachers died and I think like 2 children. Awful thing. Which, by the way, is a fucking drop in the bucket if you're talking about mass shooting incidents in this country. But regardless, a tragedy nonetheless. The person was belonging to the LGBT whatever community, and that was so magnified. I remember when that happened.
I knew you were gonna end with that. Yeah, of course it was. It's just people are troglodytes, but yeah, go ahead.
It seems like since that event till now, there is this impression growing for the chronically online right that like what is this? Another transgender terrorist attack? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you know what?
Like,
It
what is
also,
the bubble that
I
you're
don't know,
in that
dude.
is, like, an acceptable, like,
What
what are we
what
talking, what
makes
are
it?
these trans terror attacks?
Because I think you'll agree with this. I don't think you did this either. What makes it so that some people have this weird blind hate for others where when they get online and they can be anonymous, it all spills out? Have you ever in your internet history, because I haven't in mine, felt the need to, like, first of all, I don't even comment anyways for a reason, but have you ever felt the need for some hatred that you had for a group of people to spill out when you're online? Like, I'm sure your answer is no. It's just like, I don't understand how this, again, this isn't some revelation. I'm not sitting here saying, I just found out people on the internet suck, and when they're anonymous, they're actually trash bag human beings. No, we all know that for a while. I'm just like, why? Why does that happen? How does it happen? Why is it that once you do get that sort of anonymity, and you can be somewhere online that gives you that, you just all of a sudden, like, it's just weird, but...
Or just an awful person. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I
they didn't
think
watch
the people
Sesame
who
Street
are,
growing up. Oh, go ahead, sir.
I think the people who are awful online are chronically unhappy people
Yeah,
that are just looking for a way to express their distaste for whatever worldview they happen to be a part of.
Yeah, and I think when you're as plugged in as me and you still are, even though we hold the views that we have that are very counter internet, these people who shouldn't be magnified, their views are magnified too, because I see so much online stuff. I do, so
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
something to remember.
Yeah, and it sucks too because, like, not only are bad takes incentivized in the like ad-based model of online media,
right?
but everybody that's reasonable has left the space of that conversation years ago. So the only people left really arguing about this and being chronically online, a lot of them are just in bad faith. They just can't quit it.
As Hillary would say, a
people.
basket of deplorables. A basket of deplorables. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if I'm at a bus stop and a bunch of people are arguing with each other, like to the point where it's like just incoherent anger, I'm walking away.
Yeah,
dude. I'm
especially when you feel,
I'm not gonna,
especially
like,
when
go
you
by.
feel, and that's the thing about reality compared to just being online or whatever. You feel the tension. You can feel what you should do. Like, sometimes you're near a fight outside and you know you're not threatened at all. You're waiting for the train. Who cares? And then sometimes you're outside waiting for the train and you feel like this fight's going to spill over into you somehow, and you just got to remove yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got to get the fuck out of here.
This is truly what I believe about the political online space, is a lot of reasonable people, especially when you're talking about the worst forms of discourse. A lot of the reasonable people have just vacated the space.
Right.
Because it's just miserable fucking people.
Because they look around and they're like, yeah, I don't need to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to sit here and, like, I know this conversation's in bad faith. I'm not going to argue with the people who are here for that bad faith conversation because they're just dumb. I'm not going to participate. I'm leaving this space. So, I don't know.
It's tough. We do wish this, we do wish her well in her lawsuit, whatever she's doing, probably a civil suit. I have no idea. But
well, you know what's funny is there was a piece of this where in my mind, as much as I sympathize with this person and, like, yeah, her life, as far as I can tell, has been turned upside down a little bit because she caught a lot of
we'll just leave it
attention to her.
We'll just leave it at it definitely hurt her life in ways, because we can never know to what degree. We don't know. But go ahead.
But traditionally in this country, libelism is a tough case in the courts because of the Second Amendment, First Amendment.
You tend to have to prove the losses if you make the claim, which I think
she probably has a case. But it is tough.
They got Rudy. They smacked Rudy down in Georgia. And then Trump got back in office. How crazy is that? That's wild.
He sure did.
Yeah.
And now Trump's suing news organizations for reporting poorly about him.
And it just feels like we're all in a trance where, unless the economy actually does crash, I don't think that Trumpism goes away, even after this term. Not that Trump will be the president again, but Trumpism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
You have to depend on whoever takes the Trumpism mantle, but anyway.
We wish her well.
And fuck bad faith assholes on Twitter.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's why you shouldn't live on there. It just, anytime I read it, too, I'm always just like, man, like, I don't know, like, does Matt Wallace ever go, I mean, I think about this a lot because I post videos, so you inherently you just do. I think about these people that are famous based on divisive stuff and, like, all the people in their lives, their family, their friends growing up, and just, like, how those interactions go now. And they must be, like, tough. And we're talking about people like this guy who is slandering transgenderism just blatantly. I'm not talking about people who ride the fence, whatever. That's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like people who are, like, openly hateful.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that historian that everyone's in such an uproar about, and they should be, because he said, like, Churchill was, like, the villain of World War II. It's like,
God!
Like, if you were in my family and I knew you were famous and you said that, and we were at the Thanksgiving table, I would, like, just be staring at you, trying not to say it, but I'd end up saying it. You know, I would be like, "Hey, we got to talk about this."
I mean, come on.
Like, why would you say that? Why would you say that?
You understand what that is when you say something like that. There were two sides to that war, and if you're somebody who thinks Churchill was a terrorist or whatever the fuck, I understand the side that you were in favor of.
I do think
I'm a fan of you.
I do think it smacks of someone who probably is pro-Nazi, but is trying to code it best they can in a way that somehow is palatable, but still didn't make it palatable. But whatever. But yeah, we still don't know. It's just. My point was more. We still don't know, but my point was more. I mean, we think we know, but we don't know. But my point was more just like these people go home and they, like, have Thanksgiving dinner with their families, you know, and, like, you know, Joey Bob is now Susie Grace because she's trans, and she knows that you're a hateful scumbag online. Like, does she say anything? Does she show? You know, I don't know.
Oh,
I just feel like
scumbag online, I'm sure you're saying something at the dinner table.
I guess I did have a point where, if you do live in a bubble like Matt Wallace probably does, it probably cuts off other people in your life too. Absolutely. Where they don't want to see you, and now it shrinks more and more and more. It's a dangerous place to be. Don't do it, boys and girls. Don't do it, all right?
Right, and the more you are alone in the real world, the more you have to go online to find community. And then now you're, you're a neo-Nazi. God bless. What happened?
It happens like that.
Uh-oh.
The Andrew Tate to neo-Nazi pipeline. Yikes. Absolutely yikes.
Let's say it's the Jordan Peterson to neo-Nazi pipeline.
Oh, that's more of a spicy take. That's more of a spicy take. The Andrew Tate one's not a spicy take.
Andrew Tate one is not a spicy take. Jordan Peterson splits the difference between genuine self-help advice and Christian theocracy.
I'll leave this in, but we're not going to do this for too long. But, like, my issue with Jordan Peterson is he never makes sense. Even if he's trying to make a point that comes across to me as, like, okay, like, that's fair, he always says it in the stupidest words, $10,000 words for no reason. And it's just like the beautification of the inside of your soul and how that looks in to the overall juxtaposition of the universe and our duty to bring honor and stability to the land. And you're just like, where are we going? What are we? Anyways, we're done.
I'm gonna defend him slightly.
Go ahead.
Because I do think he plays the word salad game sometimes.
Dude, what do you mean sometimes? But go ahead.
A lot of times, especially when he's talking about stuff that is political and not necessarily, like, psychological.
Oh, I wonder why he word salads that. But keep going.
But when he talks about his, like, let's say, quote-unquote, self-help stuff, right? When we talk about that,
fine.
It is layered, and there's a lot of, like, academic terms in there, but it does make sense.
It's fine. It definitely, it's fine.
I think
his old school lectures and his old school books will still stand on their own. He doesn't get to change them, even though he might be whatever he is now. I just don't. All I was saying is I don't like.
I get what you mean.
Look, one of the core tenets of my principles is also if someone is trying to explain something to you and they're purposefully, like, making it more complicated, they're bullshitting you. Like 10 out of 10 times. That's what they're doing. Like,
I agree. I would say 9.9 out of 10 times, but yes, you are
fine.
correct.
I'll still take that.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You're not wrong. I think
Didn't relate to the topic at all.
Said something to the effect of like, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. So
Here you go.
I think there's
True.
great value in people who can communicate complicated ideas in a simple manner.
True.
Like there's great value to that. But
all right, I wanted to bitch about DOGE again. So
yeah,
we got that too.
Elon Musk.
No, I mean, I don't even. It's not even that, dude. I never even like
2025 Elon Musk. But go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I still don't even agree with that, but because he does suck. But no, those blanket statements are tough for me. Anyway, Social Security recipients accidentally deleted by DOGE. I'm not dead. All right, in the article, let me see if I can find it here. Oh, it's right away. Thousands of living Americans have mistakenly declared dead at the Social Security Administration under the leadership of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, according to a federal worker. Rennie Glasgow, a claims technicalist at the SSA Schenectady office in New York State, told the Daily Beast that DOGE staffers have mistakenly moved the records of living people to the SSA's Death Master file, which holds information about individuals who had Social Security numbers and whose deaths have been reported to the federal agency. We have people who did not receive benefits come in every day with their ID saying, "I'm not dead, I'm alive." Rennie Glasgow, claims technical, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why it keeps repeating that, but probably some garbage. A little AI in Newsweek, who knows? But yeah, I'm just bringing it up again because, like, if they're making these kind of mistakes, like, what other mistakes are they making? In what areas? I just wonder if we'll ever find out the depths of what they did. Because have you also seen these articles of where, like, they've stolen from, like, data and information? Just claims, unverified claims, but it's been reported in certain, multiple outlets, I think. Multiple stories, but also I wrote here too, like, just what was going through my brain is like, this shit is people's livelihoods, so it just is so crazy because you know the excuse always is, oh, when we're doing this kind of stuff, there's always going to be mistakes. There's going to be some mistakes. What do you think anything's going to be perfect in life? It's like, but when you're talking about people's livelihoods, fixed income, you just look like a dick bag if you're just carelessly going about cutting it instead of trying to do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? You just look like a fucking scumbag. Like, why? Massive amount of people depend on these checks. So,
not even these checks. That's a hilarious thing. So it says, not hilarious, obviously, but
no,
like,
we get it. Go ahead. Yeah.
You know, if you don't laugh, you cry. Thousands of living Americans have been mistakenly declared dead. Right? And it says they're coming in every day. People who don't receive benefits saying, "I'm not dead, I'm alive." Because here's the thing. If the Social Security office has put you in their dead file, you
stop getting
credit.
That's what it is.
You can't take out loans. You can't, like,
oh, true.
Everything
also
freezes
that.
as far as
That's
your
true.
financial side of interacting with.
That's true.
Right? Like, so somebody goes that maybe, let's say they're trying to get a home loan, and all of a sudden they're like, you're dead. We're like, we can't, your Social Security number doesn't mean shit. So it was just funny to me, you have people coming in that don't even claim benefits, and they're like, what the fuck, dude?
I understand. I think you read it different than me, but both still stand up for, like, being stupid. I think these people were receiving benefits, but then they stopped. We have people who did not receive benefits. I read that as people kind of who were, and it didn't come in because they declared them dead. But dude, both ways work though, because you're still just messing with people's livelihoods in a way that is like,
yeah. Well, it does mention it later on about
massively shitty. Yeah,
it stops their car payments, it stops their credit, stops their ability to do anything. But I see. That's for sure.
Oh, later on in the article, look at this man did all his homework. I did not. But yeah, true.
Whole thing, babe.
Crappy, it sucks.
Yeah, man. I really don't. I mean, it almost feels like beating a dead horse at this point, because, like, this is exactly what I expected.
I know it does,
from what I
kind of apologize for bringing it up. But you know what makes it worse too?
I mean,
what makes it worse is that the whole administration gets to act like Trump, in where they don't have to take accountability ever. Signalgate, this shit. So like they don't have to give a fuck. You think to yourself, well, how could they do this? Why would they do this? It's like, part of it is that the calculus in the beginning was nobody's going to question this or do anything about this. So fuck it. Like, we're just going to deny. We're not going to take accountability. It's tough.
I agree.
Tough place to be.
I agree.
Tough place
they look at the unflinching 80% approval rate from Republicans, and they go, we get to do whatever we want.
But I also think some of the attitude emanates from the fact that Trump knows this is his second term and that's it. So he just doesn't give a shit, bro. It's like, fucking, who cares? Like, you go back to 2017, notwithstanding Charlottesville, that was horrific. He still had somewhat, especially during the campaign up until his first presidency, he had a good political touch on what to say, how to feel, how to respond.
Yes.
And he does not give a shit anymore, bro. He does not give a shit. So, there you go.
I would agree with that. And it's funny because I'll go back and I'll watch his stump speeches from 2015.
Yikes.
And you're like, dude, who is this? Well, because do yourself a favor and do it. Like, there is the blustery Trump that is there still, but there is a genuine streak of populism that he would advocate for.
If you send me a good one, I would watch it. How about that?
Deal. I'll do that for you.
All right, you send me one that's...
I will absolutely do that for you.
Okay.
But regardless,
I'm sure some hit are bangers more than others. But anyways,
yeah. I do think he just doesn't give a fuck, right? Like he got a second term. He's not going to jail.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna play golf. He's gonna put a save face, but that's about it.
I also added this for Social Security too, because I was talking to someone about this weeks ago. I don't remember who. Who cares? But, some people make the claim that they don't want to pay into Social Security because they could do better returns with the money, save themselves, do their own retirement. And that may be true for a slim number of individuals, but do you ever think to yourself how stabilizing to society a Social Security program can be as far as, first of all, just incomes, but also like, whether you like it or not, and you believe in these tariffs at all, which if you do, you're, at least the way he's doing it, you're dumb. We have such a consumer-driven society. So you just cut things like Social Security or you take a lot of money out of it. It's not just going to destabilize because people who were getting fixed income don't have it anymore. But, like, people will lose their jobs. There'll be a domino effect. And I just think anytime I hear someone say, well, I wish I could opt out, it's like, but if they did let people opt out, it would collapse yesterday. And I'm not even kidding about that. It would collapse yesterday. And the ramifications would be massive. And it would affect most of the people in such a negative way who opted out even. And it speaks to me about I guess, willful ignorance to see the bigger picture and factor that into your decision making. And it kind of sucks. You know what I'm saying? It kind of sucks.
It definitely does. Yeah.
I think there's plenty of decent arguments to be made in different ways to govern, and even different ways to maybe cut Social Security, but expand it in a way, or maybe even I'll even do something else, but to just take away such a massive payment system that most of the people in it, if not all of us, we pay into our whole lives and then we get it at the end. Just is... Yeah, I guess this is me bitching again that I wish people would factor larger picture into their decision making, but it doesn't seem that everyone does that. So, what a hateful statement too to those of you who don't. But I'm here to hate on you. So there you go.
Wow.
It doesn't sound like you disagree with it much, by the way. But yeah, any thoughts at all?
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want old people to be homeless? Right? Like, it really is what it is. Like, if you can look me in the face, and tell me that somebody who's 84 years old, who worked for most of their life, maybe they didn't plan very well, whatever, you're cool with them sleeping on the streets, then I don't even know what to say to you.
No, that's...
If you want to advocate for a better, more effective system, fine. But I am not okay with the idea.
Let me devil's advocate you
being homeless.
And you know that someone would tell you, well, they didn't plan well then. Like, that's not like, how is their...
What would Jesus do? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. All right, yeah, let's not go down this road because it's hard to be devil's advocate when I just...
What were we gonna say?
Boy, I don't even remember. Something about prepare anyways. I don't know.
Sure, I mean...
In general, it's just going to be about the idea that, like, as long as it's not affecting me, I don't see the greater picture of the hurt that other people can go through that will end up affecting me. Affecting me, right?
Well, again, because like it's
tariffs on China. China will just pay it, and we'll be fine. And it's just like, wow, like this is
the people that are like that can't understand that, even though that money's not there is part of your tax that is used. It is money taken from you to subsidize poor folks or old folks or whatever. They don't understand that. Well, I want all that money. There are societal trickle-down effects of not having that safety net, right? If you want crime to go way up, if you want old people to die in the streets, right? Like there's a trade. That is a society that you have to exist in. And I feel like people don't appreciate their return on investment there, even though it's money taken directly from their paycheck. No. And I get that. And I understand that, okay, maybe we could be better about it. But to advocate for completely nuking any sort of state-sponsored welfare, I just feel like those people don't appreciate that the society that produces.
Your society, better yet, on a micro scale, your neighborhood, your town, will only be as safe as the lowest among you. Meaning, like, if you live in a society where you treat the lowest rungs of people just like dog shit, there's no opportunity for them, you're gonna live in a crime-ridden area. Like, you just are. Like, it kind of goes back to the way I see things in a more general sense, where, like, nobody's saying everybody should be fucking making the same paycheck in communism, but the more inequality that you create, the more destabilizing of a force that is on society, and that's going to be bad eventually. You're going to reap what you sow, and if you don't keep that in check, that is like what empires have made the major mistake of time and time again, like the Romans back in the day, French Revolution. You know what I'm saying? It's just every single time. So if you don't keep that shit in check, it's going to be bad. And also, doesn't it just bug you too? Like, one more thing. Just bugs the shit out of me that the conversations I usually see on, like, most mainstream outlets, even, like, day-to-day life, is always surrounded about how the debt is bad. No matter if you're talking to Democrats or Republicans, or if you're watching left or right TV and commentary on it, the debt is bad, and everybody agrees on that. And nobody ever says, let's just tax the rich. Like, the stupidest. Everybody comes up with the dumbest fucking hoops to jump through to try to be like, well, if we just cut enough. Dude, the U.S. budget is enormous. You're not cutting your way out of this. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. It's like, well, if we just cut enough, and then we'll just get it done. It's like, and everyone just dances, even Democrats just dance around the obvious fucking thing of you're going to have to raise taxes on people that have things.
I mean, you do appreciate that the at least the main line of the Democratic Party is neoliberal. So, like, that's just, of course, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, but I don't even like the term neoliberal.
For what that is.
I don't like the term neoliberal. The problem, the same people would be better if we didn't allow money and lobbyists to dominate. I'm not kidding. Is that not true? The same people would be better. I'm not saying perfect. But the same people would be better.
Should have been better. Weren't able to stop that from becoming law.
No,
right?
I know. Like, no. There's still culpability on their side that I'm not willing to let go of. Let's not get this wrong. Let's not get this wrong. I just still think that if you can remove the systemic things that are failing us, you'll still get better. And then maybe you get less of all, like, the inequality and the gerrymandering and healing begins. But
I agree.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I feel like
we have to live in a world where fucking tech people have basically bought our government. And what's also disgusting is everywhere you turn, gambling now companies, these companies are smart. They just invest in the politics, and then they get too big to fail, and then nothing can be done about them. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
There are 8,000 lobbyists. They're like, oh, no regulations at all. It's like, oh, they're too important to the economy now. Like, we can't do it. It's like, are you fuck out of here? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, the FDA not inspecting milk anymore I love that. That's great for me.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Being in the state that we're in, I can appreciate the fact that our state is probably going to step up and do the job that the FDA is not going to do anymore. But, like, that's not true for everybody.
And I don't even know if you could. Dude, the amount of times the Californias and Vermonts of the world, now Vermont and California, their GDP size is enormously different. But the amount of time that these liberal bastions have tried Medicare for all in their state, and it just doesn't work because you don't have enough user base. Like, it has to come in at, sometimes it has to come in at a national level, and a state can't afford everything. A state can't afford everything. So, of course, we always support them attempting to.
Like inspectors.
But how's New York State going to send out, like, inspectors or, like, do that?
Well, to be fair, I will say each state does still have their own quote-unquote FDA. I don't know what they're actually
I'm sure they do.
Described as.
Yeah.
And as far as I understand, the FDA has been offshoring a lot of those responsibilities to states in the past couple decades.
And something that
So again, I as much as, you and I pay taxes, I can appreciate that I trust the infrastructure of my state government.
Sure. I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm living in Kansas, I don't. The
federal government can try to impose what it wants at a national level. But if an economy like California's, which just moved into, like, being the fourth biggest economy on its own in the world, does what it wants, and then companies just to do business there just say, well, if we're going to follow California's lead, we might as well just... They're not going to manufacture differently for California versus, you know what I'm saying? Like, that happens a lot, too, where California will, or something like that will lead the way.
True.
And a business will say, well, this is such a large part of our profits and our company. We're just going to implement this across the board now. Yeah, go ahead.
You ever see the stickers that say may cause cancer in the state of California?
What? No. What is that?
You've never seen those?
No.
There are certain products you will find a sticker for that says blah, 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 something to the effect of the state of California. This product has chemicals that may cause cancer.
Known to the state of California to cause...
Yes. There it is.
Known to the state of California.
I think it's one of those things where, like, damn, that's such a big market. Like, okay, everything gets slapped. That gets slapped on everything. We're not going to
distinguish. Did this pass? It was a proposition.
This has been a thing for a while now. Now, actually, as far as I understand...
Oh, no, yeah, it was in 1986, and it probably passed, yeah.
As far as I understand, it's actually kind of outdated at this point, and there's certain plastics that don't need that warning anymore.
See? Right there, Office of Environment Health Hazard for California only. They have all these, especially California's huge. They have all these different departments,
Yeah. Anyways, we're getting a little off track there, but...
True. We can wrap it up. Hey, the moral of the story is move to L.A., I think.
The moral of the story is don't elect stupid people who do stupid things.
That's always the moral of the story. That's always the moral.
Shall we round off with Trump's True Social?
Oh, dear God. I never want to.
Come on.
We can do it.
It feels like it's tradition at this point. Let's find the dumbest one from the last couple days, and we'll just...
We're still talking about the Steele dossier. It's the year of our Lord 2025.
Stop. Where is that?
It's the first thing on here. I'm on here.
It's still 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Trump's live, baby.
It's the year of our Lord 2025, and we're still talking about Steele dossier.
Hopefully Act Blue, the Democrat... Oh, this one looks great. I've actually donated to Act Blue. So let's see here.
Look, he even clickbaits. It says, "Oh, we made news on our own podcast. You're not." It's like hyping up the Steele thing. It's like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, no,
a big raid last night on some of the worst people illegally in our country.
Get them, boys. And it's like a Chili's that they're running into.
Oh man, he posted a bunch of videos from it. The radical left Democrats are paying a fortune to have people infiltrate the town halls of... They're just lying about this. Nobody's paying anyone. What? You guys are so dumb, man.
Yo, did you watch that raid video, though? What the fuck is
happening? No, I don't want to watch that. I'm not watching that shit.
Yeah, you're right. I'll scroll past it.
Hopefully, Ag Blue, the Democrats' illegal scam used to raise money. How is it an illegal scam? He just lies like he breathes. How is Ag Blue? I've used Ag Blue many years. How is it an illegal scam? Like,
ooh, can we read this one?
He just says things that are so...
Yeah.
Which one?
Go to the one above it. Up one. That one.
Yeah, I already did. Yeah, I already did this.
You did? I'm sorry, I was watching the fucking...
Paying a fortune.
The radical left Democrats are paying a fortune to have people infiltrate the town halls of Republican congresswomen and senators. These great patriot politicians should not treat them nicely. Have them immediately ejected from the room. They are disruptors and troublemakers. You must allow your audience to know what you're up against.
Democrats famously at the end of March had the had an approval rating at a low point, literally lower than Trump's, are somehow paying people. Yep, they
It's
sure
not even
are.
that, right? Like, this feels like a...
So dumb, man.
It's like, listen, do you think every person displeased at a Republican town hall is paid? You are in fucking dreamland if you think that's true. This feels like just a shirking of
again.
Like,
There's
there are
no
people that hate you that used to support you, and you need to understand that.
again. There's no accountability for saying the most insane, like ridiculous
Right,
bullshit.
of course. Yeah.
There's no accountability. He can just say it. It's not true at all, but he just says it, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, he said it." And I feel like
I love
even,
these two.
even people who like sniff Trump's ball sack are like, yeah, he says things that aren't true. Like I've seen interviews of people who are diehard MAGA that are like, yeah, sometimes he says untruths. It's like, you're just gonna hand wave that away? Sure,
That's just fine. The president of the United States, yeah, that's
just
fine.
hand wave it
okay.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
And then Biden falls asleep once, and everyone loses their mind. It's like, sure.
I know.
Anyways,
But that sentence where he's like, remove him immediately. Like, okay, well, what are you defining as these infiltrator agitators? Is it people who are just asking questions at the microphone, or is it somebody who's shouting, right? Like,
party of free speech.
You get rid of everybody that's... Yeah, I know. I just can't. Oh, I feel like this is always just a fun exercise in...
Oh my God.
Like, I get a little distanced from why I hate Trump sometimes.
It's April, and he's talking about...
It's True Social.
It's April, and he's talking about bringing Columbus Day back from the ashes. Isn't that in
Love
October?
Love it.
It's April. And by the way, I bet you if you go to his social media posts every year since he was president the first time, he says this every year. He's like, I'm bringing Columbus Day back. It's how does it get back in the ashes every year? And you revive it every year.
So can I ask you something? What are you doing for Columbus Day? I was thinking we might charter a yacht and go sail in the Gulf of America while we celebrate Columbus Day. Does that sound like a good time to you?
That sounds like you would get 1,000 people of high-paying customers to do a MAGA cruise and do that. Say, we're going to
Columbus Day MAGA cruise in the Gulf of America.
You would make tons of money. And then Kid Rock performing every night, dude. You'd make tons of money. Listen, it's a scam. It's a scam economy now. Who cares?
Who cares? Just be a grifter. Fuck it.
Just released.
If that's going to be the most lucrative thing, just be a fucking grifter, I guess. Because that's the American dream.
Look at this. He just lies like he... Just released. First of all, 99.9% at the border, period. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Best number ever recorded, okay? 3 people got in versus hundreds of thousands in the last... It's a lie. People are still getting in. It's at a lower clip. It definitely is. But it's not 3. This is a blatant lie.
There's no way that's true.
And I've seen a couple... I don't even know if you could even say there's a reasonable MAGA podcaster or like online MAGA person, but I've seen a couple like right-leaning, more reasonable people like, and maybe they're not so reasonable because they support mass deportation. Be like, I haven't seen it. I have like, where is that? Like he might think he's making this shit up and being like, we're deporting people, but like some people are kind of like, hey, quicker.
But it's what it is, right? Well, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but so like they're kind of because Trump's a scam artist. He will also scam his followers. He's not going to mass deport. It costs too much money. That would cost billions and billions and billions of dollars. Go ahead.
One of his speeches when he was leaving his presidency in 2020, he said something to the effect of, "We basically finished the wall at the southern border," which, by the way,
was a lie.
So far from the truth.
Over and over and over again, man.
Thousands of miles that there is no wall for. And he said, we almost finished the wall. And Democrats, blah, 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 they're going to tear it down, whatever. And
let's play this game before we end here. He's still talking about steel, but let's click on this link about steel. It's justthenews.com, which, first of all, sounds like... what is this? Just the News?
They're Just the News, so that's a unbiased media organization.
All right, it's some guy who published it. It's now saying like, "Oh, I kind of regret it," and then it's just so dumb, man. How does the president of the United States find Just the News article by Nicholas Ballasy? Is that a real name? His name's Ballasy, really? And then fucking truth that.
Balsay.
Whatever, dude. I don't know. Holy crap, man.
What a nothing burger of a... So, just to be clear, so I don't know if you remember, but the Steele dossier came out.
It's embarrassing.
Large news organizations were refusing to publish it because it didn't have a lot of...
verified things about it,
meat
probably.
to the bones. Right.
Sure.
BuzzFeed was the first one to publish the Steele dossier at the time. And it went super viral because they were the first one to do so. And it was also like BuzzFeed News, like...
Yeah,
you know,
then famously,
people
it's like the pissing in Moscow thing. Like, we all know.
Oh, well, it's just the, like, you know, let's say NPR versus BuzzFeed News. Like, there's obviously a certain level of standard that NPR is held to that BuzzFeed News is not going to be. But, so this is just that editor regretting
That's it.
publishing
So
it.
stupid.
Like, what a nothing fucking story.
So stupid, man. So
What does that have anything? You know what's funny is that him regretting publishing it has nothing to do with the fact whether or not the Steele dossier was real.
Right, it's exactly.
But-
It's all just
Right.
nothing is ever held accountable. Just lie, and back it up. That's it.
It's our
It's the
president.
same shit
Just
over and
shit
over
posting.
again.
Sure. Who gives a fuck anymore? Like, what are we
Anyways,
doing?
Thanks for visiting
Yeah,
the
yeah.
TDS podcast, which I try not to have
Or
TDS,
t-
but then we have to look at his truth every time because of Nord, and I have to.
I feel like it just
Trigger
keeps
my
us grounded
TDS.
to the person that Trump really is as a person these days.
Is that true? Because Bill Maher met with him in person, and he was very charismatic, and he had a great time. I'm just kidding.
Well, the only correspondence I have with Trump is his truth. So
I know.
There you
Well,
go.
and he listen. It says something when you choose to publicly put out what he does. It's insane. It says something. Still does. It does.